which is cost savings and timing of other expenditure. That sounds. I'd just be interested to know how much of that was cost savings, because that sounds like a very good sum to have in the black. 864,000.
Well, that's the difference between the budget and the actual. Here, Rob.
No, it says it's cost savings and.
So you go to K. K says cost savings and timing, timing of it. So we've got some.
Where the cost savings.
Councillors, like a full breakdown of that figure.
Councillor Williams, could you email it through? We'll have that emailed to you, Councillor Williams. It's not available straight off the questions like that. We need to get to Mr. Menhennet before a meeting if we can, so he can have them ready to answer, because it's not fair to him to expect to have everything. I mean, it's just.
Well.
But anyway, he will email them to you, please. Thank you. Anything further? Carrying on.
I just had two questions, but then it might be unfair, Mr. Well, the one got answered about the disposal of the properties, but number F, does DGLT own some buildings, or have I read that wrong, just with their depreciation and interest costs relating to DGLT buildings? Sorry, yeah, just going under, I might be darting all over the place on F.
We still charge through via overheads the depreciation costs of the eyesights and any maintenance, etc., on those particular buildings. And
so the eyesight is now property of the Destination Great Lake Taupo.
No, it's property of council.
But you're using that vehicle to depreciate it.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
And we pass through.
Just the buildings are in the White House, so that relates to the eyesight.
No, they're leased.
Two eyesights.
Two eyesights. Yeah, two eyesights. Yeah, sorry.
They're leased, yeah. Okay. Any more points of clarification, etc.? Do you want to go through this capital expenditure one page by page and the Treasury Management Report, or take it as read and I'll open it up to questions? Would that be easiest? So if we could just take it in totem, and I'll just take any questions you have or may not have. And you want to comment, Mr.
Just
Miller?
to assist in answering Councillor Williams in respect of that NZTA subsidy. If you look at the work carried forward, which is the bow wave unbudgeted carried forward spend, you'll also see there's a $725,000 underspend there so far. So you add that to that 345 and take the subsidy as being sort of 70% type of scenario. You're getting into that ballpark as to what that variance was in the revenue. So as I say, it's to do with timings of capital expenditure.
Okay, Councillor Kipper.
Just going back onto wayfinding for Turangi-Mangakino 250k. Do we know what the split is between the two?
I thought you wanted it 249 and 1.
No, we've, as you know, the unlike what was said in the Chronicle, the that project, like the playground, hasn't been decided. It's only in concept stage. So once we know once we get through the consultation and the concept is changed from a concept to a decision, then we'll know what that split is.
Okay, cool. Anything further, Councillor Hackley?
I'm just a little bit confused. Like, we've got capital expenditure on the first page. I'm just looking at Waiora House extension, and on that first page there's the budget, which was 265, and the year to date 338, and then bow wave unbudgeted. It's the same as the budget, 235. How does that? Can you see what I mean?
Yep.
So I would have thought did the Waiora House go over budget, or?
What actually happened was that the contract was with council, so we show the gross amount, but the Waiora House have funded the difference between
The
what
seven-
we budgeted and the
Okay,
total cost.
okay.
which is 73,000.
Yeah.
Because we approved
Yeah.
265.
Yeah.
We paid the builder 338,
But the contract was with us,
They
so
pay
we
us-
show the gross amount.
and they pay us back the 73.
Just a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bookkeeping.
Okay. Thank you.
And I think, yeah, okay. So, anything further about the table? And I must say that it looks great too. It doesn't even look like it's new. It just looks like it's been there
Oh,
forever.
yeah.
It just melded in, you know.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, and I hope it's doing it's good work in the four well-beings. Anything further, councillors? Okay, can we move please to the Treasury Management Report, which is next set of pages past the green lines. Your investment portfolio, etc. And Councillor Minchuk.
Just have one question, Alan. With the LGFA funding coming online, is that still looking promising? How's that for your interest costs?
They went to the market last week and did their first fundraising, and the funding that they got was treated very favourably by the market because it was cheaper than the banks were actually getting. What we're waiting to see is what they're actually going to lend it at, because they have their own additional margins on it. But the appetite for investors was such that we don't have any issues as far as the 50 million that we will be looking at borrowing from them by the end of March. What we are interested in is what the margin over the swap rate will be. We're pretty confident though that it won't be at this stage any dearer than the banks, and it's an easy, it's another tool in our toolbox, and I think the market will just improve as time goes on.
You'd have to be looking at the fours, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Knowing what I know at the moment, you definitely have to be looking at the fours.
What we're expecting though is some upward movement by the banks in New Zealand based on what's been happening in Australia. So time will tell, but it's a good tool to have in the toolbox.
Anything further? Councillor Dannett?
Mr. Hennett, have we had any interest on any of our properties or anything like that we've got for sale?
We've got we'll probably be bringing a paper to the March meeting in respect of some potential movement. We were going to bring it to this meeting, but then on one of them there was more than one party that was interested, so we are just following that through a bit further. But outside confidence, that's about all I can say.
Okay. Well, I might want to allow that question again in the confidence section later. Note 5. Overdraft cost of $56.78 incurred due to a clerical error under investigation. You wouldn't spend a lot of time investigating, would you?
No, but
I hope not.
we were concerned about the fact that the bank charged us $50 for an overdraft for one day, or a small amount of money.
I'm being facetious, I suppose. Never mind. Turn the page, please, team. So, open it up for any questions of anybody. Okay, being none.
Just one comment. We show an unrealised loss on shares for the year of 593,000. It's interesting that today it's down to 226.
So that was up. That was till December, wasn't it?
End of December was a bad
I was going
time.
to ask you that because it's been great in the last.
It's improved 367,000. That loss just
Fantastic.
in 7 weeks.
Tell him a household the same thing.
Let's hope it improves. Let's hope it improves.
We've locked
some
in
more.
some gains, so yeah.
Okay. Well, if there's no more On that, I would go back to at the first page on agenda item number 9, which is the Taupo District Performance Report to December 2011 be received. Do I have a mover, please? Moved, Councillor Mincher. Seconded, Councillor Williams. All those in favour?
Aye.
Carried. Thank you.